What's going on, nation? Back again, breaking down another six-game fun slate tomorrow. Should be fun one where typically we have our late night West Coast hammers, but it seems like the big hammer tomorrow is going to be from one of our early games. So should be fun slate. Dan, any first look? Hey, what do you see so far?
Hey brother, how you? First of all, how you doing, man? It's been how do you have a good week, DFS wise, or just
Man, I've been having a great week. I've been killing it. I hate when I get on this like high of like a mountain right now because I feel like I never come off it. Like losing's not a thing, and I need to remember that like any day, I need to be
sure?
smart with bankroll manager and shit like that because it doesn't always last forever. These kind of wins.
I know you've been on a streak, man. That's why I wanted to just see how you're doing.
Yeah, cash game's been rolling. Even GPP's been doing pretty well. I actually found that constant DK now. It's the zone. It's a $5 150 max. I don't know if it's new, rare, or
Yeah, I saw
I
you were
never
talking
really
about that.
saw it. So I've been doing like 25 entries into that or so and doing pretty
Nice,
well with it. But yeah,
nice.
everything's
I
been going
mean,
great. How about you?
when you find a contest you really like that, you got to like just attack it. Like I know one of our guys, Brody Dole, like just does the 20 max dollar, and he's won it what 3 times already this year. Like he
Yeah,
loves
he
it,
won a
and he has
back-to-back nights
strategy.
too, which is
Yeah,
insane too.
I mean, when you find a contest, like I just love the single entry stuff, like whether it's $5, $10, $12 on DK or on FanDuel, like I really attack that stuff hard. Plus the cash games. But yeah, it was a good day. It was a good early slate. We had a couple guys. I had a pretty nice early slate with like getting Joel Embiid at 10% owned on a 2 game slate. I was like blown away. Um, we had a good day all around the nation with some guys winning NASCAR, some guys winning MMA last night. NHL, NBA, like just PGA. We had guys win PGA, Showdown, all that stuff. So definitely a good weekend for the nation.
And
You
then
ready to?
too, throughout the whole week, it's contagious now. Everyone's degenerating on the spring training slates a little more
Oh,
now,
I
which I
know.
love because
I
I think I
noticed
was the
that.
first to start it up because you know how I am with. If there's anything to gamble during the day, like I'm on it. I'll be the first to do it too.
I know. I
And it was
mean,
only
I
me in the
noticed that.
chat doing it. And now you got a whole big crew in there now, and everyone's been
Yeah.
doing pretty well with that. We're excited for
Well, I mean,
MLB to come.
some of those guys have been chomping at the bit, for months, and they're like getting a chance to play. And if there's a baseball slate, we're going to attack it and we're going to try to win it. And which reminds me, we can still get our MLB season pass is still discounted right now, $30 off. I mean, it's such a great value. If you're going to be playing MLB all year, buy it now and you save a ton of money over the course of like, you play MLB for 6 months. Like we're playing baseball till October. So go out and get that MLB season pass because we're going to be grinding that all spring, all summer long. What do you think? You ready to jump into some basketball here?
Yeah, man, I'm excited. All right, start us off. Point guard. Try to take us towards the top end. What do you see so far?
Well, we got Westy on the slate, and he's not that priced up. I mean, he's only 11-3 on FanDuel, and he's what 10-8 on DK, and I think he's absolutely in play. I mean, I was looking up his stats against Utah this year, and they're pretty good. Um, you
Yeah, I
know,
love Westbrook tomorrow too. And again, like it's not
it's your
gonna
boy.
be. We have. I love him, dude. Like that's a whole nother story for another show. But he's my boy. It's gonna be hard to want to play these guys when like the Kings and Washington
Yeah,
games can be super stackable. But
but don't you think that's going
uh,
to lower his ownership a little bit? I mean,
yeah,
anytime
definitely it
anytime
should.
people
But
see
there's not a
Utah,
lot of. It's not a lot of true studs. Like he's the second most expensive guy.
right?
Beal and Paul George right under him. Harden right above him. But I kind of like the little narrative too. Like last year, 2 years ago, with the whole rivalry with them in the playoffs,
Oh
like them
yeah.
always fighting between like Paul George and Ingles, Paul George and Crowder, even like Melo
Hmm.
and Crowder, Westbrook and Rubio, everyone like going at it. They always come fired up for this game. There's not really, like I said, there's not a ton of studs to pay up for. So where he's kind of fair priced against, although not the best matchup. Probably
It's
have
not,
some.
but it's not the greatest matchup. But I mean, again, I think you'll get them at low ownership because people still see Utah and they don't play teams against Utah because they have this idea in their head that like it'll be low scoring, it'll be low pace, and like that's just not always true, especially this year with Utah. So I mean, I like him a lot. I don't think he's like necessarily the best play on the entire slate or by any means, but I think you're going to want to have some exposure. Like he could easily go nuts.
I'll definitely want my exposure too because, like we said, I think they come in lower owned. Um, there's not a lot of true value where I was struggling pre-show trying to find guys like under 4K at all. I don't even
Yeah.
see anyone under 4K who I'm gonna like it for value so far. It kind of makes it harder to play them. And this mid tier between like that 5 to like 6K range is absolutely loaded tomorrow.
Hmm.
So it might be better off. Like I'm thinking already, like coming off him at 10.8, going down to like Paul George for like some exposure to that game. So
Yeah. Yep.
we'll see how
And
it pans out tomorrow though.
definitely gonna talk about Paul George here a little later. So let's stay at point guard though. I want to talk about Kyrie, who's 9-8 on FanDuel and I what 8-9 on DK. Like,
8-9 DK, yeah.
I mean, I know he's been the whole narrative with him and like being disinterested, but like at some point, like he looks like he's back in it, and he played really well the other night and against the Lakers. And I mean, point guards against the Clippers, great matchup, pace up spot. It's only a 1 point spread. I know, I mean, maybe because they're on the road, but like, I certainly don't mind Kyrie at all in that spot.
Yeah, I have a lot of interest in him. Of course, the matchup's gonna be nice. It's a closer spread than I honestly would have expected. Clippers only 1.5 point underdogs at home. It's that late hammer. And there was a while too, earlier in the season, where Kyrie was going completely under-owned
Hmm.
every single slate at just around the same price tag, even in these nice matchups, because people didn't like they were in such blowouts every game. But if he's going to be in
Well,
this matchup,
people also just think like Boston's balanced and like they like to spread the ball around and they got all these mouths to feed, but like it doesn't really matter. It's all about Kyrie. If he wants to put up 40 points and just shoot the ball, he's gonna do it. Like, he's got the keys. Like it's some games he comes out. It's maddening because he comes out some games and you watch him and he's deferring, he's passing, and you're like, oh come on, dude, I rostered you. Can you please like get some shots up? But it all depends like what Kyrie shows up. That's why he's like great GPP play because he can go crazy, but he also, doesn't have a great floor if he's just going to come out and be passive.
yeah. And then going down a little further than him, um, I'm going down towards that 7K range on DK. There's three guys right around the same price tag, all within 500 of each other. Chris Paul, Fox, and Kyle Lowry. Any interest in them for you at all?
Well, okay, so I mean, assuming Kawhi comes back, then I'll be off Lowry because I know it's a great matchup with Cleveland, but I just don't see them really needing, him to go crazy to win that game. I mean, I'd much prefer Fox or Chris Paul in those two in for a couple hundred less. I mean, Fox is obviously like the play, probably, especially if you're stacking that game up. 7,300, like he just had a huge game last game. We've been
Yeah,
seeing, like honestly, like these games with Washington, it's crazy. Like every other game they're in is a 240 total. They play no defense and they play fast. And then of course they're playing Sacramento, who plays no defense and plays fast. So there's gonna be a lot of points scored. I mean, I don't see how, I mean, maybe he's a chalky cash play, but I love Fox at 7,300.
definitely. And while we saw his minutes stagger around like the 32-minute mark for a little while, like he's trending back up where we saw 33, 35, 37 last three.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what's interesting too, like as his field goal attempts are trending up with his usage, of course, we'll hit to on this guy later too, but Bogdan's trending back down.
Yeah,
So where he's 7-3, where Washington bleeds fantasy points, he's seeing bigger minutes now. I'm gonna have a lot of interest in him. I'm gonna stack this
for
game up a
sure.
ton of ways tomorrow too. So
For sure.
I'm sure I'll get my fair share of Fox.
I mean, Chris Paul kind of let me down tonight a little bit. I mean, I thought, especially when Harden got in foul trouble, like, hey, he's gonna do something, and he really didn't. But it's a good spot. Charlotte point guards like Kemba doesn't play a lot of defense. Certainly, it's an interesting spot. It's not my favorite play, but right below him is Lou Williams, and I don't know how you feel about Lou, but if you're gonna stack that Boston game at all, I mean, you're gonna want Lou Will for 6-8, who just went nuts the other night. Won me some money on, was it Saturday night? At like a 55 spot. Like I forget who it was. Maybe it might be G Tuck. One of our boys in Slack is like all about shooting guards against Boston. Like it's kind of like a under the radar trend. And I certainly think he fits that, especially coming off the bench. So I like Lou Will a lot.
Yeah, we will I like, but like I said, it's gonna be tough too. Or I said I like Fox. Chris Paul, I like a lot, not just because of the price tag and the matchup, but I always kind of want some piece of Harden or Chris Paul. And it's going to be harder for me to get Harden tomorrow because at least now we don't have a lot of that true value. Where, like I said earlier, I'm struggling to find guys under that like 4K
Yeah.
range. So where Chris Paul is under or over 4K cheaper,
Yep.
I'm definitely gonna want some exposure to that game, and I think Chris Paul is gonna be probably where I get most of it instead of Harden.
It's just tough, man. I'm just looking at his game log, and he was like rolling there for a while, and now he's back to three straight games with single digit points. Like it's tough to get there if you're not making buckets. And I know he's a like a huge steal guy, and he's double digit assists probably, but like 5 points, 4 points, 9 points in three straight games. Like, you know, he's cheap there. On FanDuel, he's 8,900, so he's like auto fade over there. Like there's no way you're playing 9K for him. But I see the case for DK.
DK2, he's just been shooting pretty awfully. Like their last three games, he shot absolutely abysmal, like 5 for 29 total, and he's still hitting around 32 DKP or so, or he's only
Yeah,
7K. Like
that's a good point.
he has one decent shooting game, and he saw a little bit tougher matchups against like Boston, Toronto, Philly there, Miami, or Charlotte's obviously not that difficult of a matchup compared to those. I
No,
definitely have a lot more interest in him tomorrow.
you weren't kidding, man. What, 13 for 51 in his last 5 games, 25% from the field. That's horrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
Going down a little more.
definitely some room for positive regression there. All right, keep going. Sorry,
Tomas Satoransky.
that's your boy. I knew you were
He's
gonna say it.
I love him. He's always done me well.
Ah,
He's a
five
big
eight.
piece of what we've been talking about, wanting to get as many players from this game as we can. He's 5'8". This game with a 242 total right now is the absolute nuts. He's
Triple
been
double,
playing.
right? You're
Yeah,
gonna
you
call it right now.
gotta. It's already booked. Triple double. He's playing around 40 minutes. Uh,
Yeah, dude.
yeah, it's gonna be hard not to love him at least from a cash game perspective. We know he has a ceiling, so
Oh, for sure. I
I'm
mean,
gonna have a ton of him.
his price is just flat, like stagnated. Like he's still 6'3" on FanDuel, and he's 5'8" on DK. Like, man, I don't know what the guy has to do to like get a price increase because he's playing huge minutes and he's been really good. If you look at his game log, it's not like he's been bad. Like one bad game in there, but like, yeah, give me some Tomas for sure. Love it.
Going down a little bit more, right under him. It's a guy who was very inconsistent for a while. Still is a little bit inconsistent, but he's been playing well as of late. Reggie Jackson too, going against the Nets. Even with the Ishmael's back, he's playing really well. Even in limited minutes. Blowout last game kind of held him back from what was going to be an absolute monster game for him. He actually got a price decrease, although he's been playing well. So like 25 and five of his last six with a few 30 plus games in there.
And he's cheap. He's
Yeah, I'm
cheap. I
gonna have
mean,
some interest in him there.
yeah, it's crazy because on FanDuel he's 5'3" and Ish is 4'9", and it's like if the two are like the same price, just play Reggie. Like,
Ish is
let's
4.9 on FanDuel,
yeah,
and
it's
Reggie's 5.1. You said
5'3". He's literally four hundred
that's
dollars
crazy.
more. It's crazy. Like I think people are enamored with Ish Smith, and he's a favorite DFS guy. People love him, but like unless he's like under 4K or something, you're not playing him. Because he's not going to have a ceiling game every time out. Like, I
They also kill you with sometimes too how like when Reggie Jackson was questionable last game, they don't want to
yeah,
make it Ishmit like 4K 3.5, and then have Reggie Jackson rolled out tomorrow, and then they
right.
him beat three square.
Yeah,
So
they're trying. Like I applaud their efforts when they do that because it's nice. You don't have that uber chalk and you know. But yeah, I definitely like Reggie. I mean, I don't like playing Reggie. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if anyone really likes playing him, but you can't argue with the results. He's been a really good player second half. So yeah, I'm good. I like it there.
yeah, point guard, that's really going to be it for me. I don't see a ton below
My boy
5K
Dinwiddie,
really.
my boy Dinwiddie got priced up. Like I love Spencer Dinwiddie, but he's 7'4" on FanDuel, and on DK is what, 6K? Like
Yeah, I was gonna
6K
talk about
sounds
him
cheap.
a
It
little
sounds
bit
cheap.
for
Go ahead.
yeah, for shooting guard, but it
I mean,
sounds cheap like you're
it's
saying.
not cheap though, because the DK pricing is so soft. Like it's not cheap. It's a fake out. Like 6K, but then you're like Reggie Jackson's 5K. Like okay,
But he scares me a little bit too because he's coming off some of the better matchups like Atlanta,
hmm
Cleveland, Dallas is in bed, where he's been playing extremely well, and he might be fine. Like
he's setting
I
us
don't know if
up.
I'll go in the
He's setting us
cash
up for
though.
a no. I love playing the dude, but it's the perfect time to jump off. Like he's gonna dud here sooner or later. There's too many mouths to feed with him and Levert and D'Lo. Like especially in a game with like Detroit where it's kind of paced down and it's not a huge total. Like I'm perfectly fine jumping off.
Yeah, I mean he makes for a decent pivot off some of the chalkier guys from that like Sacramento Washington game. Like when I said Satoransky's just about the same price, he's 200 less, but I'm sure he's gonna have a lot more ownership than Dinwiddie too, so he's a possible pivot in GPPs there. But
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
anything to see point guard, or want to take us right into shooting guard?
No, I think we're good. I'm looking for value, guys. There's not a lot really at point guard. Don't just go to shooting guard.
Start us off at the top.
All right, so I really don't want to play Harden. Like I don't want to pay for him. You and I were talking pre-show, like 12-4 on FanDuel. DK is 11-4. It's the highest priced player. I just don't. I know there was a time when you wanted him every slate, but I just don't. I feel like when Houston is full health and they're getting the Manimal back tomorrow, when they're full health, like he's just not going to go off every game, and you got to pick your battles. Um, I'm looking to fade Harden probably, or at least go way underweight on him. I've obviously love Bradley Beal. You want to talk about Beal first?
I mean, you really don't even need to say too much about him. It should be the most obvious play there is. At 9-7,
Oh,
he's
really? Obvious, because he was 18% owned in this weekend and that friggin' game on Saturday. I posted that on Twitter earlier. Like people played Cat 50% in the $4, and then Bradley Beal 18%. I'm like, why were 32% of people playing the best play on one side of that game and not on the other? Like it just baffled me. So I mean, it seems obvious, but are people going to want to pay for him when there's other studs that are cheaper? Like I don't know.
he's as safe as it comes now. Like Scott Brooks shoves minutes down his throat. Like he plays above 40 in the games they need him to be in those closer games.
He leads the league in
Um,
minutes.
yeah, he's shooting extremely well too as of late. If one bad shooting game outside of that, he's playing really well. He's assists, rebounds, everything there. Like he's an
It's
amazing
crazy, dude.
play going into this huge 242 total. It's going to be hard not to love him. Even like I said, where the slate's kind of not top heavy, like there's Harden up top, Westbrook up top, and then Beal and Paul George. Three of those are guards. Harden's going to be super hard to get to without like a lot of the value,
Yeah,
and then Westbrook's in a much worse game. Like obviously he's a better permanent player, but he's in a much worse game environment. Where Beal comes into one of the nut matchups there is. So
yeah, dude. I
it's gonna be
mean,
easy to get to him. He's gonna be popular, but I love him.
I hope he's not popular. I mean, maybe I'm delusional, but like I just said, he was a 4 game slate on Saturday, and he was right about the same price, and he was like 18%. And there's that little there's that little four with a red next to his name here. Like maybe people will look at that and be like, oh, Sacramento's good against shooting guards. Like I hope because he is gonna smash. Like he's gonna crush that price. He's like I was telling guys the other day, like he shot 4 for 21 or something on Friday night and still made hit 42 DK or something. Like he has an incredible floor with the points, the assists, rebounding, steals, blocks, like everything. So I'm all about Beal. Probably one of my favorite plays in the whole slate for sure.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind too.
I mean,
Uh,
here's the thing on FanDuel. I know you play DK almost exclusively, but on FanDuel they've made him 10-8. Like they're making it really hard. He's 10-8 and Harden's 12-4. So it's like I get it. Like maybe more like a cash play, just take his floor, but I'll play him on both sides because I really don't care. I just want
and
to play
he
him.
sees his fair share of stocks now too. Like he sees like 3 stocks per game or so,
Yeah,
which isn't bad on FanDuel. Like Obviously, he's not getting his 3-point bonus, but he's not even shooting great from three right now. He's only making like 2, 3 a game or so now.
Yeah,
Where
he
if
was
he's
2 for
getting
10
three
last game.
stocks, kind of evens himself out with the price tag.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's just a monster. He's a monster. I'll play him. I'll play him at 10-8 on FanDuel too because I don't care. So here's the question then. Like, you have all these guys kind of bunched up right after him, and I'm curious who you're going to say you like from this kind of low 8K to high 7K range here.
DK, I'm looking at two people really in that 7, 8K range. First is going to be Donovan Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a pace-up spot for him. Aggressive wings have fared pretty well against OKC. He's been shooting a shit ton. He's playing a ton of minutes. He's getting those ball handling minutes now with the whole point guard rotation out for the Jazz. Matchup kind of suits him really well too. So he's 8'4". Has a pretty nice ceiling at the price tag too. So I definitely don't mind going to him. What's his price tag on FanDuel?
He is 8'9", so he's 1,900 cheaper than Beal, which means he's going to be more popular, and especially if people want to like do some correlation and run him with Westy or Paul George. He's 300 more than D Russ over there. I mean, I like him too. Like I can't always get him right. I feel like sometimes when he's really popular, everyone's on him, he busts, and then people sleep on him, like he goes nuts. But yeah, I mean, if you look at his game log, like Jesus, like he's been hitting 50 and 60 a lot, and you know, I like him in the OKC's a pace up spot. Just like what 2 weeks ago, right? He was 30. It was 45 minutes in that game, but he went 38, 4 and 5 for 50 FanDuel points. Like he's definitely a good play.
Yeah, right under him too. The other guy, Buddy Hield, I like a lot.
Right. He
Obviously,
hasn't
it's
been.
the game environment.
Yeah,
Love
and
that.
he's got two kind of mediocre games in a row here. I know maybe that'll keep people off him. I don't know, but he's certainly like a great GPP play.
And then I really don't see anyone else who I have a ton of interest in that 7 8K range. Although, uh, like you said, D'Lo against the Nets, like his minutes have been trending down. This is like I won't play him. I won't just play him, but this is the kind of troll game where he goes off. Like chalk D'Lo night never goes good, and this is the
Right.
kind of troll night where he gets like 35 minutes and goes off. So
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's inevitable, but I just don't feel
I
like
won't be
chasing
playing
it.
him, but
No, I won't chase it because there's just too many other good plays that you don't have to chase. But there's like D'Lo truthers out there that play him every slate, and if you're one of those people, just play him because he will do it eventually, but you don't know when. So
I'm going to take us down now to Bogdan at 5-5 on DK.
yeah,
Again, part of this nut matchup with going against the Wizards. He's been off, man. Like I said, like as Fox is trending back up, he's been trending back down. Last 5 games, he's only recording a usage rate around 20% or so. Even his like rebounds, assists aren't really there anymore.
yeah,
But he's 5'5". Like we know the ceiling he has, and even when like Bagley first went out, like he was still producing pretty consistently. Where we know that the talent he has, and if you're still going to see the minutes, I definitely like playing him a lot.
yeah. I mean, he's definitely going to be under the radar as far as when people go to stack that game up. They're going to stack up the Foxes and uh, a Buddy and Beal and all that, and they probably will not be putting Bogdan in those stacks. But he's super cheap, and we know he can do it. So for sure. What about like I'm looking here, like you said, like the 5K. There's a bunch of guys bunch up here between like 4-5 and 5-5. Does anybody jump out at you? Like I kind of like Luke Kennard. Like he's been really good, but I mean I don't know if I want to pay 4-7 for him.
Yeah, Luke Kennard's interesting too. When he catches fire from three, like he always has a pretty nice game. He's 4-7, but the two guys I'm looking at who I'm going to pair together right now, it's going to be Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown too.
Mm,
Mostly because not just the matchup, but we know Tatum's going to be he's questionable right now. If he misses, you run the numbers. It's pretty interesting too. Like no one really sees a significant boost, but what people will see is kind of like that bleed snowball effect in minutes getting shared around.
yeah, right.
Jaylen Brown's only 4'5", Smart's only 5'1". Smart's already been hitting value. I definitely don't mind going to these guys. If
Yeah,
Tatum is get rolled out, and even without that, the match is pretty nice.
I got one more cheap guy for you. I don't know if you want to go down under 4K, but I mean, have you noticed what Kyle Korver's doing in Utah? Because I really love shooting guards against OKC, and he's just playing like they're almost 30 minutes a game. He's been a big part of the rotation. You know, he took 11 threes last game. Um, he's 3-7, and all he needs is 20, 25 DK points, and he's crushing value. So I really like Kyle Korver tomorrow. It's like a cheap GPP punt.
Yeah, and one other value piece too, other down there who actually Paulie hooked me up with, and he was that you got to talk about this guy. We're overlooking him, and I'm sure most people don't even think he's going to be a thing. But Dante Exum is supposed to be returning tomorrow.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't
He
realize that.
on DK is only 3-2.
Ooh.
Uh, he's
And
Paulie's been playing the G League a little bit, so it's possible he won't be as limited as people think. But even with some kind of minutes limitation, like he's never really played over like 20 minutes. He played only
yeah,
25, over 25, only 3 times this season. Even within 20 minutes or so, when these guys have been out, he's been getting. He has a plenty of games over 25 DKP, a
for
couple over
sure.
30. He doesn't need a ton of minutes, especially in this matchup, to really smash. And when he's 3-3, 3-2
I
on
mean,
DK.
and
He,
and and Nito and Rubio are both already out.
yeah,
Oh,
Neto and Rubio are rolled out already, and
so I mean,
Exum
there,
is supposed to be making his
there you
return.
go. I mean, I like it a lot. Maybe he'll fly under the radar. I don't know, but I mean, that seems like a pretty obvious play. I just missed it. Good call, or good call, Paulie.
Yeah, shout out to Paul D for that one.
I got my backwards hat on for Paulie D tonight. That Paulie D style. All right, bro. You ready to roll the small forward? We're gonna take an hour on 6 games. Like we always take an hour, regardless how many games there are. So,
Okay, go ahead, we're right in small forward. We'll keep this
all
rolling.
right, Paul George, man. I love Paul George. He totally just destroyed me the other night. I had a like good lineup going to the late games, and then Pat Bev just clamped him down. And I think he bounces back. He's price is down. He's 10-6 on FanDuel, 9-7 on DK, and I was checking his numbers against Utah this year. I think it might be a little bit inflated because one game, Westy was out, but he was like 38 points a game or something against Utah in 3 games this year. Just has destroyed them. I mean, they got nobody who can guard him. So I mean, I love Paul George. Probably my top play at small forward, especially since it's kind of thin. There's not a lot to pay for at that position.
Yeah, so going forward, I liked a lot of guards and small forward, power forward, and we'll talk about it later, but especially center to me is going to be extremely thin.
Hmm.
And he's really only that high price guy in that position that I like a lot.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
there's
I
only
prefer
Paul
him.
George at 9'5", Wyatt 8'6" and DK, and then you go right down to like Buddy Hield 7'4", and the
Right.
rest of the guys are in the 6K range. So for that reason, I think it's probably gonna be a little popular, but I don't think it's gonna be, especially now that we know about Exum and some of that like Celtics value, like the guard range. Like it probably won't be too difficult to get to him either if you like him there.
Yeah, I mean, I like him a lot. I mean, I really prefer him to Kawhi. I'm totally off Kawhi tomorrow only because, I was on him the other night and he was crushing in the first half against who were they playing? Jesus, I just spaced. They were who they beat on Saturday?
You're saying,
New Orleans Pelicans. They
yeah,
were they were hammering him. So he had like 30 points in the first half. He played like 6 minutes in the third quarter, and they got a big, and he sat the fourth quarter. Like I'm not trusting him. They are resting him in games, and then they're resting him like giving him a day off too. So I don't in a game with a 10 point spread against Cleveland. I don't no part of Kawhi Leonard. I don't see him getting there, especially when everyone's playing. I just don't. It'll be a full fade for me because if they get up big, they're not gonna play him. They don't. They're too deep. They have enough guys.
yeah, for sure. I don't think you really need to go to him too, like where he's that inconsistent and the bigger spread can give some risk to his minutes there. Uh, I like going to like be a little bit above him in a different position, obviously, but I'm sure I'm not gonna really be falling out a lot of Kawhi tomorrow.
All right, cool. We're on the same page then. All right, so um, like all these guys bunched up down here around 5 6K. I mean, we've hit a few of them with shooting guard already. I
Joe
mean,
Ingles is who I'm looking at now.
yeah. I was just gonna say Jingles. Go ahead. You got him.
He's 5'8" on DK. Do I like him? Of course. Like I think he's cash fine, but he can even 6x maybe, but I don't know. It's kind of I don't think he really has too huge of a per dollar ceiling at this price tag now. Like he can get you 35, like you're happy with that, but I don't think it's really winning GPPs for you.
No.
Whereas you can save a little bit discount there, go 500 down, and get Jabari Parker in that nut
Yes.
matchup, where he can give you around the same production for a discount with a little bit of a ceiling this matchup.
Yep.
He's been playing really well. He's getting 26 minutes a game plus now. Since joining the Wizards, he's been 1.13 per minute player. And we know he has some crazy upside when he wants to get hot and gets his minutes run a little bit extended. So
I
Jabari
mean,
Parker is going to be one of my favorite plays tomorrow.
he's awesome. I've been on him like pretty much every game since they came over to the Wizards, and like he dudded one time really bad as chalk, like his third game, but ever since then, he's been really good. And he's gonna get his when he's out there. I know he's only playing like 25, 28 minutes, but he's super productive when he's on the floor. I love him. Like his price is now kind of like flattened out to where he's not really getting priced up, and people don't always play him because they don't like playing bench guys or they don't like playing guys that don't play 30 minutes. But I'll have a ton of Jabari tomorrow. He's like by far after Beal probably my favorite. I mean, obviously you've got Portis too, but like I love stacking up Beal, Portis, Parker, and you're locking in like a ton of usage on the first unit and the second unit.
Yeah, it's always one of my favorite things too. Take those higher usage guys from different rotations within the game. So I don't mind doing that at all. In the same game, there's Trevor Ariza,
Hmm.
6K. Not a cash play ever, but in this game environment, if it stays close and he plays like 40 minutes or so, he can always have a nice ceiling. So you really have to mention everyone from this game just because they're
Yeah.
all in
Like
consideration.
that's the other thing. Like those two guys seem like they're going off more often. Like Jeff Green seems to be the odd guy out. I mean, I know he still has the ability to do it, but he seems to be the one suffering as far as minutes. I know he played 38 minutes this weekend, but like before that, his minutes are trending down. He's not getting as many shots with this the second unit. Like he'd be the one guy. I know he's cheap, so I mean, you want to get him in there if you're stacking this game a bunch of ways, but like he's my least favorite of the Wizards wings.
Yeah, I agree with you too. And like I said, I'm only gonna reserve him for tournaments really, but
How about
I will have a shit ton of this game, so I'm
Oh,
sure
for
I'll have some
sure.
exposure to him.
Oh, for sure. One guy I was going to ask you about, especially with the Tatum stuff, is Gordon Hayward. What are you going to do with Gordo here? Yeah, he's been playing really well. I know it's been a couple of these games like Kyrie was out or whatnot, but like God, what is he on? He's 4,600, and he's like you. If you have interest in Jalen Brown and Marcus Smart and these guys, like, do you have interest in Gordon Hayward?
It's tough because do I want to? I feel like I should, but I just never have interest in him when Kyrie plays. Like, I'd much rather go to those other guys, like Smart, like 300 more, Jalen Brown at same price tag or so.
All right.
Like, we know his ceiling, but he only really flashes it when Kyrie's out.
Yeah.
So, probably won't fall on much of him. But right above him on DK, uh, Jay Crowder is small
Okay.
forward eligible. I said small forward's pretty thin. 4-8 going against the Thunder, where I said he's a big part of that rivalry they got going on. He's been playing really well. His minutes have been trending up
Big
again
time.
around the
Big
13-minute
time.
range. He's been closing games again, like where they don't need favors in that closing lineup if they're not big, like versus big front courts where it's only really Steven Adams and then Jeremy Grant. They're not gonna need favors there. They want the mobility of Crowder against like Jeremy Grant. So where he's super cheap in a position I don't love, I'll definitely imagine I'm gonna have a lot of Jay Crowder tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a good call. I mean, especially on DK where he's super cheap. He's 5'6" on FanDuel, which is fine. I mean, when you do the like ratios, like the guys are gonna be more expensive on FanDuel, but I do like Jay Crowder a lot. Like he's just all of a sudden, like for a while, he kind of fell out of the rotation, or I mean, he was just gonna like getting overlooked and losing some minutes, but it seems like he's really, like you said, trending up. And I definitely like some pieces from that game. Yeah, but OKC plays fast, man. I love take. I know they have this perception that they're good, like a good defensive team, But it'll be a high scoring game, I think, and you're definitely gonna want some Utah pieces if you're running Westy or Paul George on the other side.
For small forward, that's all I'm really seeing. Anything else on the FanDuel side or
Yeah,
anything
I mean,
that
no, nobody we didn't already hit on or already touch on.
we'll go right into power forward. Power forward on DK again. It's another pretty barren position where Paul George and Kawhi are the top two studs, 9'5", 8'6", but they're both small forward eligible too.
Hmm.
And then you go into like that Blake Griffin range at 8'3", Kevin Love at 7'7", then it dips right into that 6K range.
Yeah.
Start us off. What do you see that you like so far?
I mean, gosh, that price on Blake on DK is really appealing because it's a great matchup, but he just kind of has disappeared. I mean, in terms of like what he was doing earlier in the year versus what he's doing now. Um, I mean, he's 8,300 on FanDuel too. Like, I just don't see. I could see it as like a cash play. I just don't see. He doesn't have a ceiling anymore. Like he was going nuts earlier, but like his rebounds all get scarfed up by Drum. He's not. He definitely gets some assists, but he doesn't really get any stocks. God, I'm saying stocks like I mean, I just don't see a ton of tournament upside because he's got a bunch of turnovers without a lot of steals and blocks, and he's so like kind of scoring dependent. And so hey, I mean, it's a great matchup against the Nets, but I don't love it as much as I would have earlier in the season.
Yeah, I'm right there with you with that. Like we know the talent level he has. Like he is an 8'3" player, but he's just not playing like it. And when he's performing at just about the same production value as other guys, 2K cheaper even in that nut game, that amazing match with the Kings and
Mm.
Wizards.
Yep.
It's gonna be hard to get the Blake for me, but he is interesting for tournaments.
Yeah. I mean, I assume you're going to jump down to Bobby Portis here. I mean, I don't have anybody else I really love until him.
Yeah, I'm right there with you too. He's been my favorite play. He's been your favorite play for a little while now.
Hmm.
He smashes and another smash spot. I don't know how the hell you don't play him tomorrow at 5'9".
Yeah, dude. I mean, he's only 6'5" on FanDuel too. Like, he's an awesome basketball player. When you actually watch him play, like, and it's been a while coming. You watched him the last couple of years. You're like waiting for the breakout, and now he's finally kind of been unleashed. And like, dude can play, he can make threes, and he can grab boards. He's got a good inside game. Like, he's actually really good basketball player. And so, the only thing that's holding back a little bit of these minutes, and I know he's a awesome per minutes guy. I wish he would like if he could ever get 35 minutes in a game, like good lord, he would go nuts. Like he's putting up 30 and 40, fantasy points in like 25, 28 minutes. Maybe if it's a close game, he gets some more run. I don't know, but if he ever got to 35 minutes, like dude, he's gonna hit a 50 burger here eventually.
Yeah, the interesting too. Like I was looking through game logs and right before, game flow charts right before this, and he's been getting himself into some bad foul trouble, which is kind of like cut his minutes in some games just by like 1 or 2 minute stints a few times per game. Where I think that if he can avoid that foul trouble, the match was great. He should see 30 minutes or so, and we know if he's seeing 30 minutes, he's gonna smash in the
Oh yeah,
spot.
for sure. Um, okay, so going down, I mean, we have a bunch of guys like hurt here, and then I'm looking at like Marcus Morris maybe, or geez, there's not
The
a
one guy
ton
who I'm
here.
looking at too, who's returning tomorrow also, is Kenneth Faried. He's 4'8".
There you
Uh,
go.
he hasn't really played since the 25th and 27th. He got hurt.
Yeah,
But when he was playing, man, he was even with Capello in the lineup. Sometimes he drew the start or came off the bench and played well.
yeah.
He's playing great. He's only 4'8". The matchup's not bad. If he sees like 30 minutes or so,
And the other thing is Nene's out. They already said Nene's going to rest, so he's going to at least play all those backup minutes to Capella, and maybe he'll play a few minutes with him too. I don't know.
and he kind of matches up with them well, where they still might be trying to limit Capello a little bit on the back-to-back after the injury.
Hmm.
And like
And it's a
they've
great spot too, like
yeah, the
big men
Hornets
against
been closing
Charlotte.
with Frank Kaminsky a bunch, so like Kaminsky can really stretch out Capella, which is tough for him, but Freed's more like, athletic enough to move out to him. So maybe they try to end up like closing with Freed at the 5 for some
It's
reason.
it's a sneaky spot, man. I did not realize he was under 5K. He's 5'5" on FanDuel. which is still okay. He's still a player there, but at 4.8, he's pretty sneaky there. And then of course you just mentioned Frank the Tank too, who's obviously picking up some minutes. He's 4.4, playing well. I mean, I have some interest there too.
Yeah, I like Frank Kaminsky a lot. 4 going to Houston. Like I said, if he sees Curl, he can stretch him out and play well there. Um, and the other guy right under him too. He's in that the same match we keep talking about, the Wizards and the Kings.
Yep.
Is
Yeah, you say.
Bielitsa. He saw 30 minutes the last two games. He smashed the last game against the Knicks. If he sees 30 minutes again in this game environment, uh, at 4-2, it's hard not to play him.
I mean, here's the thing. He's the same price as everybody's favorite guy, Harry Giles, who like people are enamored with because he's like,
I don't
this
understand
young
why.
signing player, right? But I mean, if Bielitsa is going to play 30 minutes and Giles is going to play 18, I'll take Bielitsa all day. Like that dude at the beginning of the season, I've played him all the time, and he was like a 5-6K player. And when he before Bagley came and took all the minutes, and when he was still like in the rotation, like he's a very talented Euro baller, and he didn't forget how to play basketball. He just gave way to all those minutes to Bagley. So yeah, dude, for sure, love me some Bielitsa.
Yeah, I'll definitely. I'm sure I can imagine I'll be on a lot of him. But power forward wise, that's really all I see here. Anything else? Oh, one more guy I'm missing, who I was missing from that game again, we keep running right back to is Harrison
Mm-hmm.
Barnes.
Oh, there he is.
5-2.
5-2.
He plays a shit ton of minutes. He's relatively cheap for the matchup. I just want anyone playing close to 40 minutes in this matchup, and
Everyone in
he's
that
never
game
been afraid to
should
shoot.
consider him,
Yeah,
right? He'll shoot. I mean, you know how I feel about Harrison Barnes. Like, he is not a great fantasy player, and he's 6'1" on FanDuel. Like, I mean, on a smaller slate, maybe it just, I mean, he's got. Now that I look at it, he has been hit 35 in 3 out of the last 5 games. Yeah, I mean, with that many minutes, you have to consider him in that spot. I take it back
anyone playing that many minutes in that
in that game,
matchup is
right?
super appealing.
Yeah, you're right. I got to take it back. I mean, I don't want to play him, but
No, I don't think anyone ever does either.
all right, bro. We are ready to roll to center.
Yeah, right in center. I know for me at least, there's not a lot I like for centers, which is crazy. Most of the stuff I liked was power forward eligible too, so I hit them there, but only a couple really guys here. Start us off. What do you see?
Well, I mean, you got Drummond, who is way too cheap on
He's
DK,
yeah.
9,100, and we know what centers do against Brooklyn. Um, he'll probably be popular, but you got to play some of them. He's in a great spot. He's 10-6 on FanDuel, and that FanDuel does a pretty good job making it tough and not, keeping people from just jamming a ton of studs in. But I mean, I definitely want some drum in that spot. I
I
definitely,
love Drummond.
yeah, man.
Yeah, we know centers against the Nets have always been a thing. The game against Chicago was a blowout where he only got 30 minutes, so ignore that. Then you
Right.
go back to Chicago again and Minnesota, both great matchups, and he smashed there 'cause he got his full about 40 minutes in run. Goes to Toronto, gets in some foul trouble. The guy's minutes cut to 28 there, which I don't think people really realize, and still even played pretty well there. But then he goes back to Cleveland, another blowout where he got his minutes cut. Like if any game where he's getting his full run around 40 minutes or so, he exceeds value. He
Oh, for
plays really
sure.
well, and this is one of the best spots you can find for him.
Yep.
So I definitely, especially
I,
because I don't like a lot of centers here, I can imagine I'm gonna have a shit ton of Drummond tomorrow.
I like playing like in these kind of slower games. I always like playing the big guys, not the guards as much. And I just pulled up his stats this season. He's played the Nets twice, and he's averaging 24, 21 with like 2 assists and 2 blocks. Like that's nuts. Like he's I don't want to say he's a lock for a 2020 game because anything can happen with foul trouble and stuff. But like if he plays his minutes, he's gonna crush. It's just that simple.
Yeah, it's the whole thing that I said when he gets his full run, the game stays close and he stays out of foul trouble. He always plays great. We're going to Brooklyn tomorrow with a 2-point spread. Jared Allen isn't really the guy to get you into foul trouble ever. Like
No,
it's gonna be hard to not love Drummond tomorrow.
no, definitely want some drum. What about Jarrett Allen himself? I mean, he's kind of trending up. I don't. I sometimes like to be contrarian by taking a guy against drum. I mean, he's coming off 15 and 11, and then last game 20 and 12. He's 6'5" on FanDuel, and what's he on DK?
4-8 on DK.
4.8. So you got to
4-8.
have some interest, right?
I definitely have some interest. Do I have a ton? No, because like he's coming out, like I
Minutes.
said earlier, with the other Nets. Like, he's coming out of some of the best matchups against like Cleveland and Atlanta, where it's a tougher matchup against the Pistons tomorrow with the bigger front court and the pace. So yeah, like you look at the game logs, you think like, how can I love this guy? I mean, he got like 43 and 35 DKP the last two games, but when he's walking into a lot different matchup and everything, and he is a little bit of handsy too. Like he in
He wants to
tougher
block
matchups,
shots. Yeah.
yeah, he can get in foul trouble too, but he gets big block upside. I'm sure I'll have some exposure to him, but
50, he's gone 15 and 9 with two blocks in the two matchups with Drum this year. So I mean, the problem is minutes. Like he played 25 minutes in those games, and that's the biggest issue. Like if with him, because and it's not always foul trouble. Like he just doesn't. It's because the Nets wonky rotations and playing like 13 guys and stuff. Like they just don't want to give him minutes. But if he was playing like more consistent 30, 32 minutes, I would definitely have more interest. But I think he's a decent tournament play.
for me, just as a first look, obviously, what I can imagine we do tomorrow, like Freed's the same exact price tag on DK where they're both 4,800, but he also has the power forward eligibility. I know I'm gonna want to pay out for jumping tomorrow. So I probably will go to Freed in like one of my forward spots or something. Same price tag and kind of the same upside and decent floor too. Uh, it's tough. Like Jared Allen always is super low owned. It's
Hmm.
not gonna change tomorrow,
Right.
especially the way the slate works out and the matchup. So I might if I'm playing like 75 lineups again, I'll probably have a
Got
few
to get a
shares of them.
handful. Right.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. What I mean, we kind of jumped over a bunch of guys there just because there isn't a lot that we love there, I'm sure. But what do you think about like Clint Capella still at 7K? Didn't really get a price rate. I know you were kind of saying about his minutes, but like, geez, at 7K on DK, does he even need to play more than 30 minutes to smash?
Yeah, so I don't think Capella's played in a back-to-back. Oh, he has played in back-to-back since spring. That's my fault. But all right, so first of all, today, I hate the guy because he went into like halftime with like 23 DKP at this price tag, and he was only like
He was killing.
18% owned when he was projected like 28, and I went over the field. And I was like, oh, this is my day, man. Like Capella's
Hmm.
finally back to form. Like I'm gonna make some money. Like let's go. But he ended up only scoring like 38 DKP, which is fine. But it
He
just,
kind of stalled out. Yep.
and I'm sure kind of some of that is from not sharing the court with Harden a lot from that foul trouble we got in. I just don't see the ceiling from him now. Like he went from like I think it was around like a 1.15 fantasy point per minute player. Now he dipped under like since returning from injury. I think it's at like a point 0.9 or so. Uh, I always say one of the best things you need to do is not ride the wave when everyone gets back on him, but you always want to be ahead of the field and get the
Sure.
guy on his great day before everyone's on him. So it's going to be an ownership thing. If he comes in lower owned, yeah, of course, I'll have some shares of him there. But if he's coming in super high owned, it's one of the spots I probably want to get off there.
I hear you. I mean, there's just not a lot. I'm looking to find some other spots that we like. I like the spot. It's like you said with Freed back, but again, the Nay's out. So like, he and Freed are gonna split the center minutes. I don't think he's not gonna like at least play 30 minutes, maybe 32. Like he's not gonna play 35 or 40, but I mean, he's an efficient player. He gets easy buckets. He blocks shots.
Even if he
He
comes back and plays 25 minutes tomorrow, I'll like him a lot. Like he practiced in full. He's, if they're gonna hold him out today and play him tomorrow in the back-to-backs, and you want to play him both legs,
right.
I'm gonna like Fareed a ton tomorrow.
Yeah, I could see like them, but I wouldn't play them together. But I could see like like you said, if you're making a bunch of lineups, getting some exposure to both of them. He did. I know you don't like the previous matchups, but he did go 23 and 17 against the same team earlier in the season. That was in 40 minutes, so take that with a grain of salt. But obviously, we've seen centers just like smash the Hornets before they inside their week. All
Yeah, like
right,
I
any
said, center is pretty tough. There's one
yeah.
other guy I'm looking at. Gonna be pretty obvious. Willie Cauley-Stein, five
Mm-hmm.
seven in that matchup again. It's a guy in that matchup who can play 30 minutes. It's a center who smashes Washington with their terrible rebounding differential. So I think he's a little bit of an upside here, 5'7", where I don't really love center too. So he's in play.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I hate that they don't play him 30 minutes. It kind of sucks because, like you said, he has to be super efficient in his minutes to kind of get there. Um, like he played 31 and 32 minutes a couple weeks ago and was like, boom, 40 some points. And then now he's back down to like 25 to 28 minutes. And I mean, he's cheap enough to where he can get there, but like I just don't think he has a crazy, doesn't have a great ceiling, put it that way, in terms of you know, going nuts for 8x or something.
Yeah, I definitely feel you there.
It's a good play though. I don't see
Anything
any
else
real.
for you at centers, really? Like I said,
Nah, man.
center is not my favorite position.
Nah, me either. I'm really. It's pretty much. It's pretty bad down there for that. I'm looking.
Yeah, I
Not a
guess
lot.
if you want to take a tournament shot on Zubac, he's 4-3 at DK, and
Yeah.
I saw some decent production in the last few games, but I don't really love the
They
guy.
don't. They don't want to play him any minutes. Like as soon as it was funny because as soon as he went there, everyone was like, Zubac is gonna be he's gonna be freed and he's gonna smash now because he's so good and the Lakers never play him and then like instantly like he got no minutes and they just want to play him like 20 minutes a game. So he has to like just play perfectly, not get in foul trouble, and make all the shots and like rebound like crazy to crush value, and he just can't do it all the time. So
Anything else at all for center you see that you want to bring up, mention? Maybe you'll fall in love with tomorrow for any reason?
I mean, not really. Honestly, I'm looking at it like it's a lot of dart throws down here. I'm not crazy about any of the real cheap better plays. One guy we did skip over, and he's kind of priced up now, but like Al Horford is 6'6" on DK in a good spot. I know you don't like playing Al Horford, and I don't really want to play Al Horford, but like he's capable of going out and dropping 40 or 50 at some point.
He has a nice ceiling. He's priced fair, like better matchup, so I guess he has some tournament appeal there.
Yeah, I don't know. You mentioned that you got me thinking about that with Tatum maybe being out. Like you probably just kind of get a little exposure to all the different like Celtics kind of side ancillary guys and just get and see like one of them besides Kyrie is probably gonna have a really good game and just figure out who it is.
When you run the numbers, it's pretty crazy. There's no guy who really gets that massive boost at all. Like I don't think anyone relevant really saw above like a 2% usage boost, and no one really saw any kind of per minute production boost that's anything stand out. Um, but what you can imagine is when he's playing 30 minutes, like it's kind of going to be a snowball effect to get a few of these guys more minutes. Like Jaylen Brown probably gets a few more minutes. Smart maybe a couple. Semi Ojeleye probably steps in, plays a few like plays a few minutes. They can really do a lot of fun things with that. Gordon Hayward even. So while it doesn't really give anyone that huge boost, like we said, definitely helps their minutes floor there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just tough not like in some Boston because the Clippers just they're terrible defensively. They bleed points. Um, and it sucks because Boston does spread it around a lot sometimes, so it's tough to love any of those guys. But that the Celtics are going to score a lot of points.
So I
All
think
right,
we really hit everything.
yeah,
I'm not gonna try to
good.
force anything else that I don't really love. We'll go right
Now
into top threes, and then we'll tell them again our beer bet from this
beer
week.
bet. Yeah, we gotta get on the beer bet. All right, so you go first for point guard.
Point guard, I got Westbrook, Satoransky, and Fox.
All right, I'll just to be different, I'll do Westbrook, Kyrie, and Fox. Well, I love Satoransky too.
Shooting guard, I'll start us off with the boy we both love, Bradley Beal, Donovan Mitchell, and Buddy Hield.
Okay. I'll go Beal for sure, D Mitch, but I like Lou Williams as my third.
Small forward, Corey Parker, Jay Crowder, and then Joe Ingles.
I'll go Paul George, and then Jabari Parker and Jay Crowder.
Power forward, Bobby Portis, Bielitsa, and Harrison Barnes.
All right, I'll definitely go Portis. I'm looking at FanDuel here where I can't play Bielitsa power forward, so I'll go Frank Kaminsky and oh man, it's a tough one, FanDuel. Ugh. Maybe like Jermichael Green or something as a punt.
Center, I got Drummond. It's gonna be one of my favorites of the whole slate. Willie Cauley-Stein, and then Kenneth Faried.
Yep, definitely Drum is the top play for me. And Willie Cauley-Stein is my second. And I'll probably have some Capella. So I'll go Capella 3.
That's gonna be our top threes. We'll go into our beer bet again. Last week, Dan was very
Show me.
generous. He
I
gave me
did.
probably the most easy bet of my life. He set the line at a very generous. Were they versing the Pelicans, or it was Jokic versus who?
Jokic against the Spurs.
Oh,
And
okay. Well, it was
yeah,
even worse than it was Jokic against Spurs. You gave me 65. What'd you give me for the
65.
line?
Yeah, you took the under on 65. I may have been a little overzealous with my Jokic love. But you know
This
what?
week we're running it back. Who's the player you picked? What's the line we
Well,
decide on?
well, we still have to kind of negotiate that, but I figured it would be Beal since we spent like 5 minutes of the pod talking about him. But you know, you got to set the line because last time I set the line for you and you have to pick. You set the line, and then I'll pick
All right, so
and
I'll set
make
the
it
line. You give
set
me
it a little high.
I'll be yeah. I won't even lie. Last week you gave me the absolute nut bet where it was the obvious under. Although I can't understand why people sided with you with the over there. They must love you.
People were all over it. If you look at Twitter, they're like Team
Yeah,
Thunder. I'm like, oh god, I'm setting them up for failure here because
I
you
started
know
searching for head-to-heads. I was looking through these guys' Twitter profiles, like, oh man, like I gotta find these guys. But we're gonna go Bradley Beal. We'll
whatever
go
you think it is, raise it by a few points.
58.5 over under. That's the line. What do you want to take?
58.5. I'm gonna, and
Yeah,
this
it's
is
a little
crazy.
high, but it's
It's high,
not
but
unrealistic with the matchup.
I love him, but I'll take the under just because that's high. I mean, it's gonna take a great game to get there. So I'll take the under on. Can you just make it 59? Why is it gotta be? Why is it gotta be? I guess you just want to you don't have a push.
Yeah, I mean, when it's really DFS though, like there's no really push. But well, sure, I'll give you 59 too. I'll even be that nice.
There you go, 59.
Bradley
Just make it
Beal,
59.
59 DKP.
If we tie, if he hits 59 on the button, then you know we just call it a tie.
Yeah, we'll
So
push it.
all right,
There's gonna be a lot of weeks of this too coming, so we don't have to worry about pushes.
all right. I'll take
Uh,
the under.
that's really gonna be it. If you're not part of the nation already, you gotta check us out. Come join it. It's only $2.50 for a day pass. That includes everything besides the Slack chat. All of my daily great cash articles for NBA. We got Dan in there sometimes writing the GPP articles,
For
and that
sure.
covers all sports too. Got NBA going, MLB coming up, golf, NASCAR. Everything's popping right now, so you want to get in right now. Dan, any last words from you? We want to say anything to close out?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, and I'll probably be on the Twitter tomorrow running another beer bet contest. So pay attention for that. See if you want to go on the under or the over with me or Stevie. Um, the day passes are great. Come check us out. We'll give away a free week pass tomorrow to whoever picks the winning side and retweets us. And then, obviously, like the monthly, I always push the monthly pass because, I see guys coming and buying day passes, and I'm like, you buy a day pass every day, it's like twice the price of what you could get the whole month for. Like, just check it out for a month. I think most people that do like what they see and get a lot of results pretty quickly. So, give us a shot, man. I know people love these pods, but
And
You
we're in
know,
there all day.
yeah, man.
Not just an NBA podcast, but not just for NBA. You got me waking up 8 o'clock in the morning to grind out fucking MLB spring
Uh,
training now.
8 in the morning, Jesus.
People
You got
talking League of Legends in there now. Everything's going on, so it's
yeah.
fun time.
It is like probably the best time for sports because we have all these winter sports going still. We got the spring sports starting up, golf. Like people are just chomping at the bit to play whatever. So the all sports membership is clearly your best value. Come check us out. Um, we're getting a lot of good results across all sports. And I mean, I got to give you credit, Stevie. Like your cash article is great. I always read your article. I play cash and GPP every night. I have a tendency to play like riskier cash game lineup because I'm like still like a GPP mindset. And then I read your article and I'm like, you're right. Take these 3 or 4 guys that are safe as cash core. We do core plays for everything. So like, most of our guys roll 3 or 4 guys out there feel really good about, and we're seeing a lot of good results. So
This is the
keep it
best time too. When
keep it
people come
rolling,
in
man.
at like that 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, like, oh, 8 days in a row, let's go. Like, I'm still
Yeah, right.
cashing, like, and screenshots start pouring in. It's a good time to be around here.
Yeah, you can tell that the guys are winning and are excited or enthusiastic, and people start breaking on the slate midnight like we're doing right now. They're in the Slack right now talking about tomorrow's plays, and so all right, brother, it was good, man. I enjoy this every night with every Sunday night with you. Glad we got to do it.
Yeah, always fun, Dan. That's gonna be it, guys. Stack the early again tomorrow, and good luck.
See you.
Yes.